This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm going to have to file bankruptcy now.
An Army veteran at odds with the very agency he thought was supposed to help him. We're working for you with the information you need to know to prevent this from happening to you.
In the last 2 years, the city of Indianapolis has paid out $6 million to settle lawsuits and claims for things like pothole damage to bus crash injuries. We're walking you through the process if you feel like you need to hold the city accountable.
His son was taken by gunfire 4 years ago. This morning, the search for his killer continues. The message one grieving father wants you to hear.
And an Indiana woman's battle with a rare disease. Now her incredible journey back to health.
Plus, hiring Hoosiers is helping you land some seasonal work. This morning, I head to a Carmel holiday favorite to see the kinds of jobs you can find this holiday season.
All they want for Christmas is you. But before we talk about the holidays, we want to welcome you in here to Good Morning Indiana. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And we do want to welcome Raphael in here at 6 o'clock, and I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is the man of the day, though, because kids are preparing for Halloween before they talk about Christmas, and it's all about what to wear in those costumes. It's taken a turn for the worse, though, Todd, right?
Yeah, you know, Halloween's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. It is not going to be pleasant, so maybe you want to start thinking about altering your plans. The rain may be done by the time we get to the trick-or-treating hours, but it is just going to be cold and super windy, so definitely think warmer costumes than cooler costumes here. As far as today goes, the only thing you really need is a light jacket as you walk out the door this morning. I didn't check the sunglasses. There could be a little bit of sunshine here and there as we start the morning off, but the clouds are quickly going to fill back in. With that said, though, the clouds are not producing any rain showers here in central Indiana. There's some just to our north through the Chicago area, but the overall weather pattern is a very, very active. So that system bypassed us, but the one near Denver that's bringing some snow to that area, and that is going to be heading our way very quickly and could bring some rain showers into our forecast late tonight. But let's focus on the morning first. Get you out the door on this Tuesday, and not much changes, to be honest with you. From 9 a.m. to the noon hour, we're looking at temperatures that will be in the mid to upper 50s with skies that'll be mostly cloudy. In fact, our high temperature today probably occurs at noon or just after, and then those temperatures will start to fall this evening. We'll talk more about that and that Halloween forecast Lauren mentioned coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have a traffic alert for any drivers right now on the north side of town. Take a look at this, a parking lot here. This is westbound lanes of I-465 at Meridian Street. This is all due to some construction in the westbound lanes as you're approaching Ditch Road. You can see traffic can still get by, but let's take a look at our map and I'll show you this slowdown right here. You can see the red in the westbound lanes between Meridian Street and Ditch Road. Once you get past Ditch Road, things are smooth sailing, so give yourself that extra time if you're traveling along the north side.
And now at 6:03 and only on Good Morning Indiana, an Army veteran calls RTV6 for help.
This after the government began garnishing his entire monthly benefit check.
And the Indianapolis man is outraged with the way that he was treated.
I wanted it to be known. I want something to be done so maybe this doesn't happen to any other veterans.
A veteran should never have to contact RTV6 for help. Let's be clear, there are hundreds of dedicated VA workers right now in Indianapolis trained to find solutions. But over the next few weeks, you'll meet veterans who followed the chain of command, and they found a system that did not have their backs. Carl Sutherland spends a lot of time with Sassy. She helps him keep calm as his emotional support animal. And these days, he's keeping her real close.
What the hell is the VA doing?
That's a good question, Mr. Sanchez. It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm probably, not probably, I'm going to have to file bankruptcy now.
As a last resort?
Yes.
Carl served in the Army from 1987 through 1990. In 2013, his aorta ruptured. Since then, he's received health care at the Rotterbush VA Medical Center in Indianapolis.
I thought because I was a veteran that I was seeking care at a veterans facility that it would be taken care of.
Fast forward to 2019. The VA sent Carl a bill for
$8,353.81.
He offered to repay $25 a month out of his monthly check of $1,200, but the government instead wanted $201 a month. Carl could not afford that, and in the end, the VA decided to take his entire benefits check of $1,200 and leave him without a penny.
I just think it's horrible for you serve your country and then for them to take your check for a hospital bill. I mean, not a portion of it, they took my entire check. My message to the VA is that you should never, ever take a disabled veteran's check over a hospital bill. We should mean more to you than that.
And Rafael, you were just telling me that Carl's biggest fear now is that he's going to be homeless again.
Yeah, so he was homeless in the past, and so his biggest fear was being homeless. He wanted to pay off the debt, but he didn't want to lose his apartment or go hungry. So a shout out to Pete Scoville over at the VA Medical Center in Indianapolis. I called him, and he was key in getting through all the red tape. Here's the statement from the VA. The VA does not intend to cause any veteran stress or discomfort when a veteran owes money for service at the VA. The Treasury Department manages the collection. VA will work with any veteran to see that any financial discomfort is relieved. And just last week, Carl received a letter from the VA. His debt of more than $8,000 is now wiped away. Carl's reaction to that and his message to all veterans, all new at 6:30. And of course, he won't have to file for bankruptcy. So we just got word of his, that debt being wiped away, which is the good news results.
Yes, and this is something that could impact a lot of Hoosier veterans. So we have much more on this story on the IndyChannel.com.
Here at 6:06, you may recall the shocking video we showed you yesterday morning of a man being hit by an Indigo bus. He filed a claim with Indigo, which is its own specific process. But what if you're injured or have property damaged by a city-county vehicle like a garbage truck or police car? Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, you found out exactly what people should do if something like this happens to them.
That's right, Meredith. And you know, you might be thinking you have to hire an attorney or file a lawsuit to get money, but that's simply not the case. There is actually a process that you can go through all by yourself to get a claim. We found less than 40% of people who received settlements from the city of Indianapolis used an attorney or filed a lawsuit. Most people filed what is called a tort claim all on their own. And here's how you can do it. You have to start by saving all bills and receipts related to the incident. You then complete the notice of tort claim, which can be found on the city's website. Keep in mind, each person who had a loss needs to file a separate claim, and you must submit the claim in writing within 180 days of the incident. And if the city decides that you do get a payout, they will respond to that in just a couple weeks, and they will respond within 90 days of when you submit your claim. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
The time now is 6:08, and new developments this morning in a fraudulent driveway paving operation that was uncovered by Call 6 Investigates. Santino Gilk of Awesome Asphalt was scheduled to appear in court on Monday to plead guilty to one of his criminal charges against him. Gilk is accused of corrupt business influence, theft, and home improvement fraud. He failed to show up to court, and now a warrant is out for his arrest. Gilk's home detention screen turned up positive for a cocktail of drugs, including morphine, codeine, heroin, and fentanyl. His business partner, Natalie Davis, was sentenced earlier this month to 6 months in jail and paid the victims $7,500 in restitution.
Time right now, 6:09, and we are following breaking news from the city's northwest side. That's where police are investigating a shooting. That call came in around 3:30 to Linfield Court. That's near 46th Street and High School Road. When officers arrived at that scene, they found a man shot in the back. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. No word yet this morning on what led up to that gunfire.
Community members coming together to remember Gregory Wilson Jr. He was shot and killed back in October of 2015 on the north side of Indianapolis. A prayer vigil was held right near where that shooting happened. His father, Gregory Wilson Sr., says he has these vigils not only for his son, but for all the people who've been killed and their cases still haven't been solved.
We just need some cases closed so that families can get closure.
Gregory, along with several others at the vigil, believes someone out there has information that could help police close the case. IMPD says they want people to know if they submit tips anonymously, they have no reason to fear for their safety because that tip will stay anonymous.
RTV6 is learning more about how Indigo plans to make medians along the Red Line stronger, as we found them ripped up and damaged in Broad Ripple over the weekend. Local business owners say that drivers flat out ignore the median while driving along College Avenue. So it got us wondering about the cost of each section of median barrier and how many have been replaced. Indigo tells RTV6 the medians are under warranty. The construction contractor has been replacing them at their cost, so it hasn't been costing taxpayers a thing. Indigo says, however, it wants to make the medians more durable.
A rare disorder nearly took the life of a young mother earlier this month.
Now her family is telling us her story as a reminder to get to the doctor when something just doesn't feel right.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with their story. Kelsey?
Good morning. Yeah, so Sierra Henderson was just moved out of the ICU over the weekend. She's now in the PCU and still recovering from the rare disease Guillain-Barré. So what started out as tingling in her feet and a bad taste in her mouth has led to something much worse after 2 doctors missed the signs of the rare condition. It wasn't until Henderson saw a neurologist that the severity of her symptoms were realized. She had Guillain-Barré, a disorder that causes your immune system to attack your nerves, eventually paralyzing your whole body. The condition is treatable, and Henderson's brother says his sister is getting stronger every day.
And each treatment she does, she gets a lot better after each one, and it seems like a different part of her body is working again. So they're done doing it now. They just did the 5th one, and that was the point where they actually stood her up. So that was, couldn't quite stand on her own, but at that point it was, you know, like she's going to make it through this.
Her family is telling her story this morning as a reminder to us all to listen to our bodies, because if Henderson hadn't been persistent, the outcome could have been a lot worse. According to the Mayo Clinic, only 3,000 to 6,000 people get the disease each year, but anyone can get it and be impacted by it. You can recover from Guillain-Barré, but the recovery time could take a few weeks or a few years, or you could just see the symptoms of this lasting out through your entire life. Coming up in the next half hour, more on Henderson's recovery. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The holiday shopping season can be stressful. Ahead in Hiring Hoosiers, the extra cash you can earn by working at a popular winter attraction. Todd.
And Meredith, as we go throughout the day today, lots of clouds around and just a slight chance of a few sprinkles at times. However, our rain chances really ramp up as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, which is not good news for your Halloween forecast. We'll talk about it in detail coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:13. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stand by me.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is our way of helping you find jobs and opportunities to better you, your life, and your family.
And we all know that the holiday season, it can be a stressful time, especially if you have a long list of gifts to buy.
So 'tis the season to earn a little extra cash, which is why we're looking into seasonal jobs all of this week.
Yeah, I took a trip up to Carmel to see what kind of help they'll need at this year's Christkindl Mart. Winter seems a ways away when you see the sun shining and the green grass, but before we know it, Carmel's Center Green will be transformed into this.
It was just absolutely magical. The sights, the sounds, the smells, to be a part of it all.
That's how Monica Kesmerick describes her time at the Christkindl Mart.
I worked in the beer stein hut, and it was a lot of fun because I could work with all sorts of ages. People would come in and tell me their stories of when they were in Germany.
She plans to return again this year, and representatives at the market hope others will join her inside the huts to spread holiday cheer.
So we're looking for people who are very gregarious, able to engage, have a lot of time. We have a lot of retired folks who have come out of retirement for 5 weeks of the winter to join us at the market, as well as stay-at-home moms and people who want to get involved in the community and see their neighbors during the winter months. It's just a really fun, enjoyable atmosphere for people to get involved with. with.
Employees work from 4 to 9 on Wednesday and Thursday nights, then noon until 9 on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, all while being paid generously.
$15 an hour, which we want to make it something that is exciting for people to earn some extra cash for the holidays.
Monica, who was new to Carmel last year, says it went beyond just that. She was given the gift of being embraced by her new neighbors.
This was an opportunity to engage with the community, to meet people, to make them feel welcomed. And by me welcoming people at the market, I felt welcomed into the community.
If you're interested in applying for a job at the Chris Kindle Mart, you'll need to act quick. They are looking to fill positions as soon as possible. We put a link to the employment application on our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
All right, well, it's not the holiday season just yet, but it is going to cool down this week.
Yeah, it'll feel like it before we know it, Todd.
Yeah, the big time cold front arrives on Thursday. Not good timing here as it's going to be right on Halloween, but this is going to be our first big push of really, really cold air that is going to be coming in at the end of the week. So this morning as you walk out the door, temperatures aren't that bad. We're in the low 50s right now. And here's how it breaks down for you hour by hour throughout the day today. With mostly cloudy skies, our temperatures are just not really going to move all that much. We'll go from where we are right now at 53 degrees, holding steady through 10 a.m. And we'll get up to about 58, 59 for your afternoon high, and that's just about it. And at times, it's not out of the question that the clouds could produce a few sprinkles. Alyssa Donovan's outside, and she said there were a few sprinkles moving through downtown. So not out of the question that you can experience that at any time throughout the day today. If you do, though, it's probably nothing more than a sprinkle or two. That's the good news. It's not going to hamper any plans. So when you look at the satellite radar picture, there's no real big storms as of right now. This little disturbance moved through the Chicago area, some snow in Denver once again, but that storm system is going to team up with another one coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to move quickly and eventually bring some rain into our area, most likely by about this time tomorrow. So this evening, again, we'll maintain the chance of a few sprinkles, otherwise just mostly cloudy skies and temperatures that are going to be in the 50s and eventually falling into the 40s. And then for the day tomorrow, we're dealing with lots of rain off and on throughout the day, temperatures that will be in the 40s. I'll show you the wind speeds tomorrow. And the winds tomorrow aren't all that strong. We're looking at about 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. It's really once we get into the day on Thursday that wind really starts to kick up. So throughout the morning commute tomorrow, showers develop. They're pretty light in nature, and that's going to be the case throughout the entire day tomorrow. We're not looking at any real heavy rainfall, but we're just going to be dealing with it off and on throughout the entire day. So overall, it's a fairly wet day for us, and then we'll get a little bit of a break tomorrow evening before the next round of rain comes in. This is throughout the day on Thursday, which is Halloween. So 8:30 in the morning, Halloween, we're dealing with rain showers. We deal with them off and on, and then look what happens as we get into the evening hours. Here we are, 5 p.m. So there will be some dry hours for trick-or-treating. It's just going to be really cold and windy, and as that colder air comes in, not out of the question, we could deal with some snow showers making their way through the area. We are not expecting any accumulation, no, but for Thursday evenings, it's not going to be a treat. I can guarantee that. Wind gust over 20 miles per hour, temperatures right around 45 degrees, but falling when you factor in the wind. It's going to feel more like it's in the 20s and 30s, so make sure you bundle up the kids. 29 by the time you wake up Friday morning. That's the blast of cold air. Then highs Friday and Saturday, even with sunshine, and it's a Sunday as well, going to be in the mid-40s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do want to update you north side drivers that westbound I-465. The construction there near Meridian Street and Ditch Road, that's wrapped up. Everything's traveling up to speed. So here's a live look right now from our live drive vehicle. Photographer Shay Goodpaster behind the wheel. This is a dash cam view. He just hopped off southbound I-465 getting on 86th Street. So it looks like everything here is traveling up to speed, and that is great news this morning. We'll keep you updated on any crashes or delays as we get closer to rush hour.
Next on Good Morning Indiana, a school photo was shared more than 30,000 times on Facebook. That one right there ahead in our trending 6, the attention it's now getting from a major food maker. Can you guess which one that is? That's next.
See your Central Indiana GMC dealer.
It is 6:24 here on our Tuesday. It's time for the trending 6. You guys hungry?
of boys.
Always. Well, too bad because tomorrow Taco Bell is giving away free Doritos Locos Tacos. The giveaway goes with its Steal a Base, Steal a Taco World Series promotion. Washington Nationals' Trey Turner stole second base during Game 1 of the series, giving everyone a free taco. The deal runs from 2 until 6 tomorrow evening.
And if that doesn't fill you up, maybe a hot dog will. Jake Arsenal took a dare from his dad and wore a hot dog costume for his school picture. You've probably seen it online. The picture has been shared more than 32,000 times on Facebook. And of course, it caught the attention of Oscar Mayer. The company sent the Wienermobile to Jake's school to surprise him. They gave Jake an honorary hot dogger du jour certificate and named him Jumbo Frank Jake.
I have no food, but a lot of new emojis are now out on Apple devices, and they're more inclusive. 60 new characters hit iOS devices on Monday. The new group includes disability-themed emoji options like a seeing eye dog, characters in wheelchairs, and prosthetic limbs. Other new emojis include a sloth and a yawning smiley face. Apple first previewed some of these emojis this summer.
Well, here is a giant reminder to you to clean out that dryer lint. Dryer lint was collected from across the country, and it was pieced together to form this Guinness World Record-breaking ball of lint. Get this, weighing in just short of 700 pounds. Ouch. It was then burned to help raise awareness about the dangers of dryer fires.
Okay, so there was a good twist to it.
Yes.
Just in time for Halloween, a scary story from another galaxy. 2 galaxies, in fact. The Hubble telescope getting a spooky face in outer space. The eerie image is actually an optical illusion, the result of 2 galaxies colliding. The system is 704 million light years from Earth and was formed by a head-on galaxy collision, which is pretty rare.
This is also out of this world. Check this out. Let's head to the 4th quarter of last night's Steelers and Dolphins game. Pittsburgh running back James Conner is tackled with 9 minutes left in the game. The tackle was earth-shattering because, as you can see, Conner comes up with a giant clump of turf stuck in his face. The lump of turf was so large it almost resembled Dolphins quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick's actual beard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's pretty
good. Side by
side. Pittsburgh's notorious for having a terrible field because they play college on it, and they got a ton of rain. They got all the rain that we had, so he took a big divot, that's for sure.
Yuck.
All right, it's pretty quiet outside this morning. Skies are mostly cloudy. We'll get you out the door with those mostly cloudy skies. And temperatures right around 50 degrees on average. Temperatures don't do a whole lot here throughout the day today. 58 degrees by the noon hour. And then our high actually occurs probably around 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, around 59 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer off towards the east, a little cooler to the west where the front arrives quicker. But nonetheless, it's just kind of a blah day for us. But for the most part, dry. A lot of rainfall, though, is heading our way once again starting tomorrow morning.
And Todd, we do have a traffic alert now for drivers on the northwest side of town. This is a live look from Live Drive. Stuck in traffic on the northbound lanes of I-465 near 86th Street, heading around the curve to eastbound I-465. Road construction is to blame as we have construction in the northbound right 2 lanes. That's creating some stop-and-go conditions, as well as a connecting road from eastbound I-865 heading onto I-465. That's scheduled to be closed until 6:30 a.m., so hopefully it will reopen soon. We'll continue to monitor this slowdown, though, and keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Geodis is a hiring Hoosiers partner.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A teen is dead, and police say it's a homicide. Now at 6:30, what we know so far about what went down on the northeast side.
I'm Alyssa Donovan. The city has paid out millions of dollars in settlements, and coming up, I'm going to show you the process used to hold the city accountable.
And only on RTV6, the veteran who feared becoming homeless again. His message to others caught in this same situation only on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday, October the 29th. Welcome in. The team is back together again. Hey.
And it is 6:30. Meteorologist Todd Clausen joining us here at the desk right now for our first look at weather. Todd, not ideal conditions as we wrap up October. A lot of kids might have to modify their Halloween costumes here over the next few days.
Yeah, you know, you definitely need to have the warmer coat with your Halloween costume because it's going to be very windy and blustery Halloween night. The rain may be done by the time we get to the trick-or-treating hours on Thursday, but the wind is definitely going to be there with falling temperatures. This morning, though, as as you walk out, and there's lots of clouds, and there are a few sprinkles here and there across parts of central Indiana. Temperatures are going to hold pretty steady in that 47 to 52 degree range. So that means you may need the light jacket, but it's not one of those real cool mornings that we've seen the past few days. Yesterday we were down into the 30s. So lots of clouds. You notice a few breaks in the clouds. So once the sun comes up, it's not out of the question that we could have some sunshine here this morning. But if you do see it, it will be short-lived, and the clouds will fill right back in. As far as any precipitation, again, a sprinkle or two is possible, but we'll wait on that storm that's near the Denver area to bring more significant rain to the forecast by about this time tomorrow. So throughout the morning hours, temperatures slowly climb through the mid-50s into the upper 50s by the time we get to the noon hour. We really don't warm much more from there, but we'll talk about the afternoon and look ahead to that Halloween forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, want to bring you back out live to our live drive vehicle stuck in traffic here on the northwest side of town on northbound, eastbound I-465 around the curve there of the loop. Our photographer Shay Goodpaster is behind the wheel telling our producers that there's paving going on in this area. That's impacting the lanes on I-465 as well as a connector ramp from I-865 eastbound. So we'll continue to monitor this. Avoid the spot for your morning commute if you can to avoid this major backup.
We are following breaking news from overnight. A man is in the hospital after a shooting on the northwest side of Indianapolis. Police were called around 3:30 this morning to Linfield Court near 46th and High School Road. Officers found a man with a gunshot wound to the back. That man is now in critical condition. So far, that's all police have said about the shooting. We will continue to find out more for you throughout the day.
At 6:33 and new this morning, police believe the death of a teen was the result of a homicide. That teenager was shot and killed around 9:45 last night on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Metro Police were called to a home on Stouffer Court that's near 42nd Street and North Post Road. They found a 17-year-old victim dead of a gunshot wound. Police have not released any details about the investigation so far. If you have anything to share with police, you can leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers. That number, 317-262-TIPS.
Time right now is 6:34, and with a record number of homicides over the past few years, public safety is one of the top issues on voters' minds as they head out to the polls next week. Indianapolis currently has more than 125 criminal homicides for the year 2019. Now, that number is still lower than where we were a year ago at this same time. We spoke to all three candidates for mayor about what they would do about the city's homicides over the next 4 years if elected.
I think what we're seeing now is the ship has finally turned. The investments that we've been making are starting to pay dividends, and I hope we see a continued reduction in crime.
Who knows what's going to happen, but the bottom line is that we need new techniques to accept the challenge of violent crime.
Get to the youth and do more youth outreach. It's been shown time and time again through many studies throughout the country that the more money you put into youth assistance and violence prevention, the less violence you have on down the road.
Indianapolis voters will get to choose one of these three candidates on Election Day, which is set for next Tuesday, November 5th. Stick with RTV6 all week long as we ask these candidates about the top issues that matter to you.
You may recall the shocking video we showed you yesterday morning of a man being hit by an Indigo bus. He filed a claim with Indigo, which is its own specific process. But what if you're injured or have property damage by a city-county vehicle, like a garbage truck or police car? Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, you found out exactly what people should do if something like this happens to them.
That's right, Meredith. And most people might be thinking you have to hire an attorney or file a lawsuit, but it's actually not the case. The process is a little bit more simple than that. You can do it all on your own, and it all starts with these forms.
We found less than 40% of people who received settlements from the city of Indianapolis used an attorney or filed a lawsuit. Most people filed what is called a tort claim all on their own. And here's how you can do it. You have to start by saving all bills and receipts related to the incident. You then complete the notice of tort claim, which can be found on the city's website. Keep in mind, each person who had a loss needs to file a separate claim, and you must submit the claim in writing within 180 days of the incident.
and the city has 90 days to respond to your claim. If they decide that you should be paid out with a settlement, they will send you that settlement paperwork, and you should get payment within a few weeks. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
A great information to know. The time now is 6:36, and working for you, RTV6 is getting results for a local veteran. We also want to help empower you. You see, Carl Sutherland owed the VA more than $8,000 in medical bills. He was willing to pay that debt off by paying $25 a month. Instead, the government took his entire monthly benefits check worth $1,200, which left him unable to pay rent or even buy food. After sending multiple emails and making calls and waiting a couple of months, we were able to get Carl's case reviewed and then resolved.
I'm proud to say, as of right now, I no longer owe anything. They rolled the debt off, and I owe you big thanks for that, because it was you getting involved that really helped me.
I thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And I think you should have never, ever have to call a TV station as a veteran to get what you need. You know, and so
that's true.
I'm glad that we're here to help, but this should never happen again.
You're right, and it shouldn't happen to me or any veteran.
So let's talk about you or a veteran that you may know. If you owe money to the VA, make sure to call the VA Resource Center. That number will be on the bill you receive. Request a payment plan. They usually want the debt paid off in a reasonable time, which is possibly 36 months or 3 years. If you can't do that, there's an appeals process. Carl also learned that you should reach out to your VA medical center and report the situation.
They're the ones that are going to have to make the decision whether they'll do a payment arrangement or whether they'll write the debt off.
So Carl received a letter from the VA just last week informing him in writing that he no longer owes $8,000. He's relieved. But here's the key thing. Don't forget to always get something in writing. Lauren?
Raphael, thank you. Here at 6:38, a South Bend grandfather is now facing criminal charges in the death of his own granddaughter. Salvatore Anello is charged with negligent homicide months after accidentally dropping 18-month-old Chloe Wiegand from a cruise ship window. After the charges were announced, the family's attorney spoke to Good Morning America.
Why are you going to charge him with a misdemeanor when you already know he's been through such a terrible trauma? Everybody on earth agrees this was an accident. Everybody knows there was no intent involved. And so it sort of begs the question, why? I don't know what the answer is. That I have some theories, but unfortunately, it's really just pouring salt on the open wounds of this family.
Well, that family was on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship docked in Puerto Rico when that tragedy happened back in July. Anello is now out on bond. You can hear more from the family's attorney coming up on Good Morning America. That's right here on RTV6 starting at 7 a.m. Now, the South Bend Fraternal Order of Police also releasing a statement about those charges. Chloe's father, Officer Alan Wiegand, works for that department. The statement said, quote, "The charges filed in Puerto Rico are appalling and do nothing but re-victimize a family who experienced a horrific loss. Based on the facts, it sounds like the negligence in this tragedy come from the cruise ship and not the family," end quote.
Homes under renovation are being targeted by thieves looking for expensive items. Robin Landon flips homes in the Broadville area. She says someone has broken into several of her houses, stealing things like air conditioning units, a stove, furnace, and a water heater. The thefts are not only affecting her company's bottom line, but potentially preventing new homeowners from moving in.
We were in the middle of a contract on that one house, and then we have to spend a few weeks wondering whether or not they're going to buy the house, because they need to know that they're going to be safe where they're at. And you can tell them all day long that it's not going to happen if you live here, but that may not be the case. We don't know.
Landon's company has now installed surveillance and alarm systems around the properties.
I'm Kelsey Anderson. Coming up, a family's warning after a young mother is misdiagnosed by 2 doctors, and it could have cost her her life.
Plus, one of the biggest names in gospel music taking on the organization that gives out Christian music's version of the Grammys. He says it's because he's being censored when he talks about social justice. But first, let's check in with Todd Clausen with a look at your forecast. Good morning, Todd.
Raphael, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. There's a small chance of a few sprinkles here throughout the day today, but otherwise dry. But on our umbrella meter here, rain really ramps up for your Wednesday and your Thursday. Virtually 100% chance of rain. Not good news for your trick-or-treating forecast. We'll talk about that and also some gusty winds heading our way coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:41. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time right now is 6:43 on your Tuesday, and here's a look at that backup we've been showing you on the northwest side of town. This is due to some paving and construction in the area. Expect these delays as you're traveling northbound on I-465, approaching 86th Street and heading around the curve there to eastbound I-465. We can tell you from Shea Goodpasture and Live Drive, you can get by. You'll just have this slow down for a few minutes. Well, out in Georgia, a convicted rapist is on the run after being released from prison by mistake. Tony Macon Munoz Mendez was released from the Rogers State Prison in Reedsville down in southern Georgia last Friday. He had been serving a life sentence there since April of 2015 after being convicted of rape and aggravated child molestation charges. Munoz Mendez is considered extremely dangerous. So far, the prison has not said what led to the mistake that caused this inmate to be set free.
A rare disorder nearly took the life of a young mother earlier this year, and it started as what she thought would be an ordinary visit to the hospital.
This morning, her family is telling her story as a reminder to all of us to listen to our bodies when things don't seem right.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with their story. Kelsey, this is so important for people to hear.
Yeah, that's right. So today, Sierra Henderson, she is a newlywed, a young mother, and she went into the doctor earlier this month into an urgent care with complaints of foot pain and a bad taste in her mouth. They sent her home with antibiotics for a sinus infection. The next day, she went to the emergency room, and the same thing happened. Antibiotics for a sinus infection plus a referral to a neurologist, and that's when the neurologist found out that she had a disease, and she's now here at the community hospital here with Guillain-Barré syndrome. It is a very rare condition in which the immune system attacks the nerves.
She went in for foot pain and come out with a sinus infection, so that was a little mind-boggling to me.
Her brother Tim Goen tells me he's glad Sierra listened to her body and the very next day went to the emergency room for a second opinion. There, they also diagnosed her with a sinus infection, but did refer her to a neurologist.
When she went to the neurologist, she seen Dr. Ivaturi, and he knew right away what it was. And he, sent her away to go take some tests, and they found out pretty soon that it was Guillain-Barré.
Guillain-Barré is a rare syndrome some people get after having some sort of infection. According to the Mayo Clinic, weakness and tingling are usually the first symptoms. Then these sensations quickly spread, eventually paralyzing your entire body.
At the beginning, we thought she was going to have to learn how to walk, talk, and everything over again, which, now it seems like maybe the walking part of it is what's left to rehabilitate.
He says his sister gets better with every treatment, but he knows it could have been a lot worse if she hadn't been persistent.
And I would say if you feel any kind of symptom like that, you make sure you get yourself to the hospital, because it could have got a lot worse. She could not be here right now.
Over the weekend, Sierra was moved from the ICU to the progressive care unit, but her family doesn't know if her recovery will be a few weeks or a few years. It just depends on how Sierra's body recovers, but they say they are inspired by her positive attitude. For more information on Sierra's recovery, visit this story on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live in Indianapolis, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 6:47, and gospel music star Kirk Franklin says he will boycott Christian music's biggest award show in the future. And he says it's all because they censored him during an acceptance speech. Franklin won this year's Dove Award for Gospel Music Artist of the Year. But when the awards were broadcast on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, Franklin's speech was edited to remove a reference to Tatiana Jefferson. She was the African-American woman who was killed in her own home by a police officer in Fort Worth, Texas. Franklin says it's the second time the Dove Awards and the Christian TV network have censored him.
I'm aware that the word boycott often has a negative connotation and finality to it. But my goal will forever be reconciliation as well as accountability. It is important for those in charge to be informed. Not only did they edit my speech, they edited the African American experience.
Well, the president of Gospel Music Association has apologized to Franklin and says they're working to address his concerns.
Walgreens says it will close nearly 40% of the medical clinics inside its stores. The company says it's due to cost reductions and a move to other businesses that will draw more customers. Walgreens says it will close 150 by the end of the year, but it will keep open more than 200 that are run in partnership with healthcare providers. The chain also is working on partnerships with other companies like Kroger to improve its food offerings. Walgreens is also opening 100 locations for the weight loss company Jenny Craig starting in January.
At 6:48, let's talk about hiring Hoosiers. A medical company is coming to Westfield and bringing more than 450 jobs with it. Last night, the Westfield City Council approved incentives for the healthcare company Abbott to build in North Point Industrial Park along US 31. Abbott says it plans to make a heart valve device at that new plant. Construction is scheduled to start later this year. The company says the new jobs will be added over the next several years.
Time now is 6:49, and it's time for a look at our dog walking forecast. Okay. I know Gypsy has been wearing her sweatshirt now outside for a couple of days, Todd, and people might be breaking out those extra layers for their dogs and themselves.
Yeah, definitely by the end of the week, you will need a heavy coat for yourself and your favorite four-legged friend. We have a very studious dog here today. This is Zeke. And look at Zeke all checked out here. He's got his glasses on. He is all ready to go. Thankfully, we don't have much in the way of rainfall, so Zeke and all the other dogs here across central Indiana can get out and about for their walk today. Thanks to Danessa for sending Zeke in. And here's how your temperatures break down throughout the day today. There's just not a whole lot of movement in the temperature department, and that is due to the cloud cover that we're dealing with really throughout the entire day. So it's a mostly cloudy day for us. Don't be shocked if you see a sprinkle or two, but it shouldn't be anything more than that. So there will be the opportunity to get outside today almost at any point throughout the day today. It's just not going to be the brightest day for us with only some peaks of sunshine here or there. So we had one little disturbance that brought some rain and snow to the Chicago area. You look back off to the west, and there's nothing that's all that impressive. Snow in Denver this morning, but there's a system in the Gulf of Mexico that's going to team up with this one that's in the Denver area and come at us in waves. In fact, we have two waves of rain heading our way. The first tomorrow, and then the second will be on Thursday. So rain chances as we get into your day tomorrow are around already by the morning commute. Pretty scattered in nature, the morning commute, but then they ramp up throughout the morning. It's during the afternoon and evening hours that the rain is going to be the most widespread. So tomorrow's planner shows rain from start to finish throughout the day. It's breezy with temperatures that are only going to be hovering in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. So it's a cooler day. And here come these scattered showers already in the forecast tomorrow morning. It's not a solid rain throughout the entire day. If you remember back to Saturday when it was a washout, but there will be periods, and it could be hours at times, that the rain will be pretty steady, and then we'll get into a little bit of a break. And then this is the round of rain that comes through on a Thursday for us. This is 8:30 in the morning. This is 12 in the afternoon. There's a little bit of a break, so you could get out with the trick-or-treaters, maybe with dry conditions, but look at this. As the cold air comes in, and it comes rushing in, we change some rain showers over to some snowflakes. No accumulation, but as far as the winds go, they could be gusting up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. Maybe a half an inch of rain tomorrow, then you throw on the rain on Thursday, and everybody over a 48-hour stretch is looking at about another inch of rain, maybe some higher totals in some southern locations. But Thursday evening, 45 degrees. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. 45 is going to feel more like the upper 20s with those blustery conditions. And then look at those temperatures below freezing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. We do get the sunshine back, though, for the weekend.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have some slowdowns on your interstates as you're heading out the door to kick off your Tuesday. Northbound I-465 here, slow for paving here on the northwest side. Give yourself that extra time. If you're over here to our east near Greenfield, heading into town, westbound I-70, the right lane closed for construction approaching Mount Comfort Road, causing some delays. And down on the south side along westbound I-465 from East Street to Man Road, we have stop and go traffic, so plan ahead. Well, we do have a warning for anyone who likes to stream movies, even TV shows on their smart TVs.
Our John Mattery joins us this morning with the reason you could lose your access to Netflix, so you don't waste your money.
Do you have one of the first generation smart TVs? Do you have a 6 or 7 year old Roku box? Well, you could lose Netflix next month. An upcoming Netflix update will make it incompatible with some early smart devices, according to reports on Cord Cutters and DigitalTrends.com. Owners of some early smart TVs are already getting a message saying, due to technical limitations, Netflix will no longer be available on this device after December 1st, 2019. So if you own an older Roku or smart TV, you may have to make changes soon or you'll lose Netflix. The easiest? Buy the new Roku Express. It's just $30. You will need to find an open HDMI input on your TV, though, to plug it in. This isn't that unusual. Apple's been doing this for years. It recently ended support for the iPhone 5 and 5S, and the iPhone 6 will not be supported much longer either. So don't be surprised and don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. And you can find this and more money-saving tips anytime. You can just go to the money page on the IndyChannel.com or on the RTV6 app. We'll be right back after the break.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
If you didn't get your hands on a Popeye's chicken sandwich before it sold out, you are in luck. The sandwich will be back on the menu for good beginning November 3rd.
So Popeye stopped selling the item just 2 weeks after launching it to extraordinary demand. The sandwich's popularity even led to a social media battle between Popeyes and their competitors like Chick-fil-A.
Well, Popeyes is already taking a little dig at them, relaunching the sandwich on Sunday. Of course, that is when Chick-fil-A is closed.
Doesn't get more brilliant than that.
Yes. A brilliant marketing campaign altogether. So we've had this story quite a bit. So
yeah. Is that where you're going to be on Sunday, Todd?
No.